protests in support of Gazans have been taking place regularly. They have been taking place often in the same sites in our city centres. So do you want to be candid about this and just say you are giving the police the power to ban those particular protests? That's the brass tacks of what you're saying.
So this is not about a ban, this is about restrictions and conditions that will enable the police to maybe put further time restrictions, move those protests to other places. The police already have powers on conditions for protests. What I will make clear in the law is cumulative disruption is in and of itself a reason to place restrictions.
But if
there will be protests that relate to the conflict in the Middle East that would now come into the purview of these changes, as other protests as well. So it is always an operational decision for the police to make, but what I'm being explicit about is they can take cumulative disruption into account.
So on the protests that people have seen week after week, some people have looked at them and thought, quite right, those are people standing up for Gazans. Some people have looked at them and thought, as we heard from our panel, actually, those have enabled some people to come out and express hatred towards Jews. What you are doing as the Home Secretary is giving police the powers to move those people on, to disrupt that pattern of regular protest.
What I'm allowing is for the police to be able to take cumulative disruption into account, and it is important, I think, that we make this change so that the right balance can be struck between allowing people the freedom to protest, which is an ancient freedom in this country, but balancing that against the rights of the wider community to be able to go about their business free from intimidation and fear.
The new Green Party leader, Zach Polanski, says it's offensive to ask people to stop joining pro-Palestinian marches. Is it not a dark step to limit the fundamental right to protest in a country that's founded on liberty and the right to say and think what you want?
Well, firstly, I don't think it's offensive to ask people to show a little humanity towards a community that has suffered such a terrible tragedy. That's the first loss of Jewish life, simply for being Jewish, on British soil in centuries, actually, as it happens. It's a very, very long time since that's happened in our country. And I think just because you have a freedom doesn't mean to say you have to use it at every moment of every day. Those people could have just waited a day or two and given people the chance to grieve and process what has happened.
But beyond this weekend,
I don't think there's anything offensive about that. I think that would have been a British response to what we've seen.
But beyond this weekend, what you are suggesting as Home Secretary is a response to limit particular protests that many people believe are part of their fundamental right to go and object to something they see in another part of the world that has horrified them.
Well, look, what we are doing is enabling the police to put more conditions and restrictions, so people will still be able to protest. But I think it is right that we look again at the balance that is being struck at the moment between that right to protest and also the wider rights of our communities as well. So it's always a balance, and I'm recognising that I think that balance has been not necessarily in the right place. I want to have more consistency of police practice when it comes to the conditions they put on these protests, and I have recognised that there is a gap in the law here. There is an inconsistency of practice, and that is why I want to make it absolutely explicit that cumulative disruption is a relevant factor for the police to take into account.